I'm going to give you one tip today about how to be a more eco-friendly consumer because the way you shop does matter. This is a relatively easy way, so just listen up. Now, what gives me the clout to be telling you this? I'm a Hennepin County Community Recycling Ambassador, so I've dedicated a lot of time to training and learning about what is acceptable in the market and what really happens. I encourage you to look at some videos on the subject so that I'm not your only source. And also, please use the comment section below to give me suggestions and other suggestions as to how to utilize products, because this is really about packaging. How to be a better consumer is very much about the packaging. There are other ways too, but this is one of them. So I'll show you some examples of good packaging and then one or two of not so good packaging. And I'd like to also say that this is not to badmouth any companies, because clearly I've bought the product or I've gotten a hold of the product, so at some level I believe in what you do. I'm just saying that not only will I contact these companies, but I also just, so it's not a matter of losing business. I don't think this video would have that ability because you have your own minds, but really think twice before buying something that's not so eco-friendly. But tell them that, tell the manufacturers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you one, two, I'm just counting how many wrappers here. I got our packages. For example, now you're going to hear me talk about post-consumer recycled packaging, which means that the manufacturing company or producer bought recycled paper. So it is post-consumer, meaning it's not factory scraps. That's pre-consumer. It's still good, but it's better to be post-consumer because that's what keeps the recycling market thriving. Now, how do you know if it's post-consumer versus pre-consumer? Gray or brown packaging, mainly brown packaging, is an indication that it's old paper instead of virgin paper. Virgin paper being like first time it's ever been used. I don't like bleached paper because the environment doesn't like being bleached. So check this out. Like, for example, Raisin Bran, it's one of my guilty pleasures. Raisin Bran has great post-consumer recycled packaging. See, it's brownish inside, so you know it has not been bleached. So heads up to Millville, great job at doing that. Now, how about, okay, I got this package from a friend who used to have an iPhone, and I was going to take care of the scrap metal for her. iPhones. All right. This is very, very white. It's bleached. I would have a word or two to say to Mac company, to Macintosh, for this iPhone that has this super white packaging. Yes, it looks classy, and yes, that may be what they're aiming for, but if you're trying to be environmentally conscious, then use post-consumer recycled and don't bleach it. Now, the other part of it is what to do if you do buy a product that's not so eco-friendly. You try to reuse it in some way. Now, this is a Mary Kay skincare box. I can't quite tell whether it was, it looks like it might have been bleached. It feels like it is virgin paper, but it's also brownish inside, which I think though is just the coloring of, or what they colored the paper with, because what you just saw with the cereal box, it looks used. And this looks more like this was tinted brown. It's gorgeous, but it doesn't look very eco-friendly. Now, I use Mary Kay. I love their products. I would say, for example, this is not the most eco-friendly. I know they plant trees. I know they've been taking plastic beads out of product because of, I think, a outcry about it. So they are getting more conscious. I just think you guys, Mary Kay, or you ladies, men, whatever, could show more concern for the packaging. Now, oh, here's another one. Now you know what some of my shopping habits are, and I don't even like shopping. Okay, now how about Mama Cosi's Rising Crust 4 cheese pizza? Mama Cosi did a good job as far as I'm concerned because look, it's brown, and I can feel on it that this is post-consumer. Usually it says somewhere on the packaging that it's post-consumer, but I don't see it on here. You could even suggest to them, which is what I will do. I mean, I would write to Mama Cosi's Pizza Kitchen and say, good job on the packaging. I'd even recommend that you put on it that it's what percentage post-consumer it is, so so that so that we know, because we vote with our dollar. I'm really impressed with it. Now, that said, the outside has been coated with some wax, it looks like, because it is shiny, it's slick. Most of the food packaging has been coated with something slick, which means it's less recyclable but not impossible. It just they need to keep it frozen. Now, what do you do then when you end up with packaging like this that you want to make up for? I wouldn't say a bad purchase, but not the most eco-friendly always. Reuse it. In this case, the Timewise box is a great box for regifting something, put something in there, or storage, or put it on Facebook Marketplace. Was it Buy Nothing? I think that's what the group is called. You're gifting things away that you didn't need. Same with the iPhone. You could use it in some other way. Now, with the Rising Crust, what you could do with the pizza box is cut it into strips. I'm ripping it, but you can also, well, I was going to say you can cut it into strips and put it in a compost bin. However, the slickness of it makes it not good for vermicomposting, for worm composting, because worms can't process plastic or this slick, it's not plastic, it's slick clay layering. Possibly, well, if you soak it, the top layer might come off. Either way, the point is that when you do have a box, you can reuse it in some way, but put in the comments below how you reuse things. I mean, if you're already buying it, then give it a second life. In fact, I've looked at someone, I can't remember which chapter it was Genius, was talking about using freezer bags, reuse them to store other items that could go into the freezer, because if one product was meant for the freezer, then you know that that packaging is good for the freezer if it was previously used. Let's say a bag that contains well, maybe frozen broccoli. Well, if that bag was good for frozen broccoli, then you can put other freezer items in there once the broccoli is done, right? I keep a bunch of my frozen bags that way so that you don't have to buy Ziploc freezer bags. Either way, just remember, let the manufacturer know if you're either impressed or if you want to make changes. You might eventually change brands because of it. I mean, I would consider doing that, but let them know. And for the ones who were shown today, thanks for being good sports. I do like your product. Just the questioning is questionable. The packaging is questionable. Thanks for tuning in, and let me know what other eco-related subjects you'd like to cover, because I'm all about digging for information. Thank you, and thanks for any of my new subscribers. I really, really appreciate you. You wouldn't believe how much it helps to grow this channel.